Welcome to the top 10 most dangerous neighborhoods in America. From the gritty streets of Chicago to the bustling alleys of New York City, we explore the urban landscapes where danger lurks around every corner. Make sure to stick around for the last one because you won't believe what it is. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more thrilling content. Liberty Heights in Detroit earned its reputation for danger through a combination of economic decline and the proliferation of gang activity. As industries left the area, jobs became scarce, leaving many residents struggling to make ends meet. In this environment, gangs like the Liberty Boys emerged, offering a sense of belonging and protection to disillusioned youth. People such as Eminem and Jerome Bettis came from here. With limited opportunities for education and employment, young people often turned to the streets, where gang violence became a common occurrence. The absence of adequate social services and community support further exacerbated the problem, leaving residents feeling abandoned by the system. Over time, the pervasive influence of gangs and the normalization of violence turned Liberty Heights into a dangerous neighborhood where residents faced constant threats to their safety. Despite efforts to address the underlying issues, including attempts at revitalization and community outreach programs, the deep-rooted problems persisted, cementing Liberty Heights' reputation as a symbol of urban decay and neglect. In the heart of downtown Los Angeles lies a block group delimited by East 5th Street, S. Los Angeles Street, Boyd Street, and S. San Pedro St. Once a thriving urban center, this area has since become synonymous with danger, largely due to the pervasive influence of gangs. Various gangs have established a stronghold in this neighborhood, each vying for control and dominance. Among them are notorious groups such as the East Side Tracy, Mara Salvatrucha, MS-13, 18th Street Gang, and the Rollin' 20s Crips. These gangs have carved out territories within the neighborhood, engaging in turf wars and violent conflicts to protect their interests. Shootings, drug trafficking, and other criminal activities are prevalent, creating an atmosphere of fear and instability for residents. Law enforcement efforts to combat gang activity have been met with significant challenges, as the deeply entrenched nature of these gangs makes them difficult to dismantle. Despite arrests and crackdowns, the cycle of violence persists, leaving residents trapped in a dangerous environment. As a result, the block group delimited by East 5th Street, S. Los Angeles Street, Boyd Street, and S. San Pedro St. stands as a stark reminder of the devastating impact of gang violence on urban communities. Welcome to the heart of downtown Los Angeles, where the streets tell tales of danger and intrigue. In this block group, delimited by an avenue, North 10th Street, Washington Boulevard, and the labyrinth of North 3rd Street/Minnesota Avenue/North 4th Street, the pulse of the city beats to a different rhythm, a rhythm set by the gangs that call this neighborhood home. Picture this: graffiti-adorned alleyways, neon lights flickering against the backdrop of towering skyscrapers, and a palpable sense of tension hanging in the air. This isn't just any neighborhood, it's a battleground for some of LA's most notorious gangs. Here, the East Side Tracy hold court, their presence felt in every corner of the block. They're known for their fierce loyalty and territorial pride, marking their territory with colorful tags and daring anyone to challenge their authority. But they're not alone in this urban jungle. Across the street, the Mara Salvatrucha, MS-13, lurk in the shadows, their presence ominous and foreboding. With roots that stretch far beyond city limits, they're a force to be reckoned with, their influence extending like tentacles into every facet of street life. And let's not forget about the 18th Street Gang, a formidable foe known for their ruthlessness and cunning. They play by their own rules, carving out a piece of the neighborhood pie with brutal efficiency. But amidst the chaos and danger, there's a sense of resilience that permeates the streets. Residents, though wary, refuse to be cowed by the specter of violence. They've learned to navigate the urban jungle with street smarts and savvy, forging connections and alliances in unlikely places. Law enforcement patrols the area, their presence a constant reminder of the delicate balance between order and chaos. But in a neighborhood where the lines between right and wrong blur like graffiti on a brick wall, the battle for control rages on. So, welcome to the block group delimited by an avenue, North 10th Street, Washington Boulevard, and the ever-shifting maze of North 3rd Street/Minnesota Avenue/North 4th St. It's a place where danger lurks around every corner, but also where the spirit of survival burns bright in the hearts of those who call it home. Belmont, situated within Detroit, Michigan, is infamous for its rampant gang violence, solidifying its reputation as one of America's most dangerous neighborhoods. FBI data from 2021 reveals that Belmont's violent crime rate is a staggering 1,865% higher than the national average. This translates to approximately 14,947 reported crimes per 100,000 residents, far surpassing the state average of 1,839 per 100,000. Belmont is a hotbed for gang activity, with prominent groups such as the Belmont Boys and the 7 Mile Kings exerting influence. These gangs are deeply involved in drug trafficking, extortion, and territorial disputes, leading to frequent instances of violence and intimidation within the neighborhood. Gang-related violence in Belmont takes various forms, including retaliatory shootings, drive-by shootings, and armed conflicts over control of lucrative drug markets. Firearms are often used, resulting in a high incidence of gun-related crimes and casualties. Law enforcement agencies grapple with the challenge of curbing gang violence while ensuring the safety of residents. In summary, Belmont, Detroit, serves as a grim reminder of the devastating impact of gang violence on urban communities. The prevalence of gangs and their illicit activities contributes significantly to the neighborhood's alarming crime statistics and poses ongoing challenges for law enforcement and residents alike. South Side Chicago is synonymous with entrenched gang violence, earning its reputation as one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in America. FBI data from 2021 reveals a violent crime rate soaring 2,300% above the national average in South Side Chicago. Approximately 18,675 reported crimes per 100,000 residents starkly contrast with the state average of 804 per 100,000, indicating a pervasive atmosphere of lawlessness. South Side Chicago is a battleground for rival gangs seeking dominance over territory and criminal enterprises. Notable gangs include the Gangster Disciples, Black P. Stones, and Latin Kings, each vying for control through violence and intimidation. Gang-related violence in South Side Chicago is alarmingly frequent, with shootings and homicides occurring regularly. Retaliatory shootings, drive-by shootings, and conflicts over drug turf are among the primary causes of violence. The availability of firearms exacerbates the situation, resulting in a staggering number of casualties and fatalities. Origins of the Gangster Disciples. One of the largest and most notorious gangs in South Side Chicago is the Gangster Disciples. The gang originated in the 1960s as a small street gang known as the Devil's Disciples. Under the leadership of Larry Hoover, the gang grew in size and influence, eventually merging with other groups to form the Gangster Disciples. Larry Hoover's leadership and organizational skills were instrumental in the gang's expansion, solidifying its presence as a dominant force in South Side Chicago and beyond. East St. Louis, Illinois, has garnered a reputation for being among the most dangerous neighborhoods in America, plagued by rampant gang violence and crime. FBI data from 2021 reveals an alarming trend in East St. Louis, with a violent crime rate soaring to 2,100% above the national average. Approximately 16,800 reported crimes per 100,000 residents highlight the pervasive nature of criminal activity in the area. East St. Louis is home to several notorious street gangs, each vying for control over territory and illicit activities. Gangs such as the East Side Posse, the Black Gangster Disciples, and the East St. Louis Mob are among the most prominent in the area, engaging in drug trafficking, extortion, and acts of violence. Gang-related violence in East St. Louis is a persistent threat to public safety, with shootings, stabbings, and other violent incidents occurring regularly. Retaliatory attacks, turf wars, and disputes over drug distribution fuel the cycle of violence, leaving residents in fear for their safety. Law enforcement agencies face significant challenges in addressing gang-related crime and restoring order to the community. The roots of gang activity in East St. Louis trace back to economic and social disparities, as well as historical factors such as racial segregation and urban decay. Over the years, gangs have capitalized on these conditions to establish their presence and exert control over vulnerable neighborhoods. Camden, New Jersey, is notorious for its pervasive gang violence and high crime rates, earning it a reputation as one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in America. According to FBI data from 2021, Camden's violent crime rate is alarmingly high, standing at 1,950% above the national average. With approximately 15,600 reported crimes per 100,000 residents, the area faces significant challenges in addressing crime and improving public safety. Camden is home to numerous street gangs, each vying for control over territory and criminal enterprises. Notable gangs include the Bloods, the Crips, and the Latin Kings, which operate within the city and surrounding areas. These gangs are involved in drug trafficking, extortion, and acts of violence, contributing to the overall atmosphere of lawlessness. Gang-related violence in Camden is a constant threat to public safety, with shootings, stabbings, and other violent incidents occurring regularly. Retaliatory attacks, turf wars, and disputes over drug distribution are common catalysts for violence, leaving residents in fear for their safety. Law enforcement agencies struggle to address the root causes of gang violence and implement effective strategies to combat crime. The origins of gang activity in Camden can be traced back to socioeconomic disparities, urban decay, and the proliferation of illegal drugs. Gangs have capitalized on these conditions to establish their presence and exert control over vulnerable neighborhoods, perpetuating cycles of violence and criminality. West Baltimore, Maryland, has gained notoriety for its entrenched gang violence and elevated crime rates, making it one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in America. FBI data from 2021 reveals a disturbing trend in West Baltimore, with a violent crime rate skyrocketing to 1,800% above the national average. Approximately 14,400 reported crimes per 100,000 residents underscore the pervasive nature of criminal activity in the area. West Baltimore is home to several notorious street gangs, each vying for control over territory and criminal enterprises. Notable gangs include the Black Guerrilla Family, the Bloods, and the Crips, which operate within the city and surrounding areas. These gangs are involved in drug trafficking, extortion, and acts of violence, contributing to the overall atmosphere of lawlessness. Gang-related violence in West Baltimore is a constant threat to public safety, with shootings, stabbings, and other violent incidents occurring regularly. Retaliatory attacks, turf wars, and disputes over drug distribution fuel the cycle of violence, leaving residents in fear for their safety. Law enforcement agencies struggle to address the root causes of gang violence and implement effective strategies to combat crime. The origins of gang activity in West Baltimore can be traced back to socioeconomic disparities, historical factors, and the proliferation of illegal drugs. Gangs have capitalized on these conditions to establish their presence and exert control over vulnerable neighborhoods, perpetuating cycles of violence and criminality. East New York, located in Brooklyn, New York, has garnered notoriety for its pervasive gang violence and elevated crime rates, earning it a reputation as one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in America. FBI data from 2021 reveals a troubling trend in East New York, with a violent crime rate soaring to 1,700% above the national average. Approximately 13,600 reported crimes per 100,000 residents underscore the pervasive nature of criminal activity in the area. East New York is home to several notorious street gangs, each vying for control over territory and criminal enterprises. Notable gangs include the Bloods, the Crips, and the Latin Kings, which operate within the neighborhood and surrounding areas. These gangs are involved in drug trafficking, extortion, and acts of violence, contributing to the overall atmosphere of lawlessness. Gang-related violence in East New York is a constant threat to public safety, with shootings, stabbings, and other violent incidents occurring regularly. Retaliatory attacks, turf wars, and disputes over drug distribution fuel the cycle of violence, leaving residents in fear for their safety. Law enforcement agencies struggle to address the root causes of gang violence and implement effective strategies to combat crime. The origins of gang activity in East New York can be traced back to socioeconomic disparities, historical factors, and the proliferation of illegal drugs. Gangs have capitalized on these conditions to establish their presence and exert control over vulnerable neighborhoods, perpetuating cycles of violence and criminality. O Block, officially designated as the 6400 block of South Drive Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, is notorious as one of the most dangerous blocks in Chicago, despite its seemingly ordinary appearance. Referred to simply as O Block by locals and in the lyrics of Chicago rappers like Chief Keef, this stretch of South King Drive holds a dark and violent reputation. O Block is notable for being the childhood home of former First Lady Michelle Obama. Several prominent Chicago rappers hail from or reference O Block in their music, including Chief Keef, Lil Durk, and King Von. Their lyrics often depict the harsh realities of life in O Block, including gang violence, poverty, and the struggle for survival. O Block stands out for its alarmingly high rate of violent crime, particularly shootings. From June 2011 to June 2014, the block witnessed a staggering 19 shootings, earning it the dubious distinction of being the most dangerous block in Chicago during that 3-year period, according to an analysis by the Chicago Sun-Times. O Block is flanked by the sprawling Parkway Gardens low-income apartment complex on one side, while a variety of businesses, including an AutoZone, a Food Mart, and the Chicago Crusader newspaper, line the other. Despite its mundane appearance, the streets of O Block are fraught with tension and danger. Gang members bestowed the name O Block upon the area, with the O representing 20-year-old O.D. Perry, a gang member tragically gunned down nearby in 2011. Perry's death, allegedly at the hands of a 17-year-old female gang assassin named Gakira Barnes, serves as a stark reminder of the violence that plagues the area. Barnes herself later met a similar fate, being fatally shot not far from O Block. O Block is notorious for its gang activity and the pervasive threat of violence. Young men, often affiliated with local gangs, can be seen congregating in the courtyards, while mothers hurry past, clutching their children tightly. Shootings, stabbings, and other violent incidents occur regularly, perpetuating a cycle of fear and trauma within the community. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, remember to hit that like button and subscribe for more awesome content. Your support means the world to me and helps me create even better videos for you. So, don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with all the fun stuff coming your way. Thanks for watching.